Hi, thanks for everyone being out here, ladies and gentlemen. My name is John Madden. I'm a lifelong resident of Pawtucket, and I used to be an active member of the Wiley Center 30 years ago. I know Henry Shelton told me 25 years ago that national grid is national greed.
Yes.
And Henry Shelton was saying, what's up with all these companies and hiking up all these things for the poor people, like minorities and handicapped people and the working poor. And Henry Shelton was saying to me, what's up with this? And I said to Henry, I have no control. But Henry Shelton said these big companies don't care about the poor and everything. Yes. And Henry Shelton told me 25 years ago, capital grid is capital greed.
Yes.
And for myself, you know, I have some family and friends that are affected of this, and I'm against the 50% hike on the utilities and everything. And so I guess these big companies like National Grid, and what's the name of the company that's taken over National Grid?
Rhode Island Energy.
Rhode Island Energy is taken over, and they got to do something about this. Hiking up things is not the answer, and I'm totally against it. Thank you for coming out.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is David Belize. I'm the director of the Rhode Island Interfaith Coalition to Reduce Poverty. I'm honored to be sharing the stage with everyone here. Thank you to the George Wiley Center, and thank you to Brett Morales and all of the community members who are speaking today. I work for a coalition of faith leaders throughout Rhode Island from different faiths who believe that we have a moral obligation to fight poverty and inequality in Rhode Island. And we believe that this is what these rate hikes are. They're immoral. No family, no person should ever have to choose between heating their home or paying their rent or buying groceries. I know too well in my own personal life what that's like, choosing whether or not I can buy groceries for my daughter or pay my light bill. I think it's important to understand that you are not alone, and I like that George Wiley Center said that this is a fight that is not impossible, that they have won before, so we must come together and fight this fight again. I'm gonna leave you with this quote. There is a religious quote that says, "Those who oppress the poor denounce God, and those who take care of the poor are blessed."
Yes.
I'm paraphrasing that. I don't remember the exact words, but that is a quote. In every faith, you have those sayings. We have an obligation to take care of the poor, and we must fight those who choose to oppress them. Thank you very much for your time.
Hi, I'm Peter Nightingale. I'm here representing the Poor People's Campaign. I'm also a professor of physics at the University of Rhode Island. And if I paraphrase what Camille said at the beginning, we have to educate people, we have to educate politicians, we have to educate commissioners of the PUC. And you won't hear me say this very often, but I would say, just read the Providence Journal. I'm not a great believer in corporate media, that's what I meant. Why read the Providence Journal? Well, you look at the flyer that Camille held up and you'll see that one of the lines on there is the headline of an article written by Alex Kuffner in the Providence Journal. If you read that article, you will see that Rhode Island Energy says the reason for this rate hike, excuse me, that came naturally. The reason for this rate hike is the war in Ukraine. We all understand how that works. Well, we should all understand. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Anyway, Rhode Island Energy understands that. So the question is, who will make the profits of this war in the Ukraine? Well, prices of fossil fuel go up, rates go up, etc., and the money flows to the fossil fuel industry. A lot of money also flows to the war industry. And who are paying the price for these rate hikes? The people in the streets. They pay with money if they have it. They pay the ultimate price if they end up on the streets without utilities, and they simply die. Let that sink in. They die. And I'm not making up this for rhetorical reasons. 250,000 people in the United States every year die because of poverty, prematurely. I'm sort of a freak of myself. I did a calculation at one point, what that means, 250,000. It means you take dead bodies, you start in Westerly, you put them shoulder to shoulder, you go to the State House all the way, and you have enough dead bodies left to make it back to Westerly. Let that picture sink in. This is the ultimate price that people are going to pay for profits that flow to the fossil fuel industry. So I would say, read the Providence Journal. I'm not making this up. Alex Kufner mentioned this explicitly in his article. Am I right, Alex?
Yeah, you're right.
Thank you. I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Doug Pratt. I live in North Providence now. My situation is probably different from most of the other people's situations in that, well, I'm on permanent disability. I haven't been able to work for a lot of years. And, well, right now, I've gotten LIHEAP. I've gotten pretty much all of the government assistance that's available out there. My medicine is $4,000 a month almost, so if I got a regular job, if I lose Medicaid, well, someone's gonna have to pay for that medication. Anyway, to see, I'm gonna say 50% hike, I know the salaries of the top executives at National Grid, before it became Rhode Island Energy, they were 7 and 8 figure salaries.
Yep.
8 figure salaries. I was wealthy at one point. I lost everything, again, because of a corporate greed issue that had to do with, you know, government policies, stuff that went through Congress, and Congress, the lawmakers were, of course, I say they were bribed, or I mean lobbied, to you know, to turn deaf ears to what was going on, and how this corporate greed, all this policy with the lending industry went in, and again, I owned beautiful homes, and I was prosperous and happy, and well, what happened in 1 year and all, I lost everything. You know, the problem that took me down also took down the lending, caused the financial crisis of 2008. That was caused approximately by the same issue that took me down, where corporate greed got into Congress and the lobbyists in Congress were able to enact the corporate greed policies into the, in my case it was the mortgage lending industries, but this caused 2008 financial crisis. What happened? Well, the rich got richer and the poor got poorer, and I ended up on the wrong side. Because I was rich at one point, I would consider, yeah. I mean, I wasn't, you know, I wasn't a tycoon, but I owned a beautiful home in Boston. I owned a house on the Cape Cod, that is, and I was happy and content. And what happened? In 1 year, all of my property foreclosed. I couldn't restructure my debt load because of these policies, that were enacted in Congress by the banking industry, the banks and the corporate lenders. And what happened? My properties were closed. I had a problem. One of my properties was for $1.7 million, and the bank adjudicated it for my 940 on. They ended up actually, they lost a whole ton of money. Both of my property, they lost a ton of money. Their own stupidity. And I lost everything. Well, so where else? One of my my best contractors, a good friend, he put money into my property. He lost that. My wife died in a nursing home because of this. And that's just one other facet of what your electric bill going up 50%. I don't think those people at the National Grid need to go. Anyone making $100 million here? Yeah, I don't think so. But there's certainly plenty of people making over $10 million. Doing what? An executive job. It's good, so they do a job. Maybe they're in good positions. Maybe they deserve to have a good job.
Thank
But
you.
$10 million salary?
So are there any other folks that want to speak? And I know SATA is listed. We're closing up the program. If this is the first time you've been to the George Wiley Center, thank you. There's a restroom here, some water. SATA, if you'd like to come up. Is there anyone else that would like to speak on behalf of an organization or as an individual? Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, George Wiley Center for organizing this. This is very important thing, as we all know. So peace everyone, my name is Satya and I am an organizer with the Party for Socialism and Liberation. I'm very worried about the massive proposed hike of electricity and natural gas bills in Rhode Island. I'm left wondering, will I even able to afford to keep my family safe while the temperature drops? We have been told what's in store starting October. We heard a lot about it, of all the community that is being affected. Our annual bill is going to rise 15%, gas bill, and our annual electricity bill is going up by 50%. Have our income increased by 50%? No. Have our income increased by even 15%? No. Like many Rhode Islander, I am worried sick about the bills piling up. Could my family even pay the price hike? Whatever we earn for our work is already eaten away by inflation at grocery store, at the gas station, and everywhere else that prices are soaring. All while corporations are making record profits. The government has the power to freeze price on these essentials to make sure working families can pay their bills. It ain't doing that. Instead, the Federal Reserve is doing an interest rate hikes, right? To intentionally put the economy in a coma. Many people will lose their jobs. But that will be a joy, and it will be a self-inflicted crisis by the Federal Reserve. But it is a joy for many rich business owners who want unemployment to help them drive down the wages even further. And as the interest rate rises, the interest payment or credit card debt all will rise up. How can we afford 50% increase in electricity cost, right? After paying our rent or mortgage, paying for food and paying even everything else that has gotten so expensive. The utilities crisis didn't come out of nowhere. Even since the pandemic started, right? A record number of people, we heard so many people are behind their bills. A record number of people are behind on their utility bills. It is a double whammy for working people. We are being forced to pay higher prices for everything we need to get by and to pay higher interest on our debts. In our state, Rhode Island, the Rhode Island Energy, formerly National Grid, essentially has state-sanctioned monopoly, which means primary service they provide is extracting profit at whatever level they choose to set. Let's be clear about one thing. Although there are technically other companies, the cost won't come down either. Along with the news, right? The news we all got, the mail we got, that the Rhode Island Energy, from Rhode Island Public Utilities Commission, it provided a list, so-called smart shopping, right? Says there are two other options, they said, Town Square Energy and Ambit Energy. Have you looked at the cost? It's 2 times and 3 times more than the Rhode Island Energy pricing. which is already far too high. It's ridiculous, the choices. We are told that these costs have to increase because the factor is outside our control. They're giving a global region. So we ask, is that so? That the war in Ukraine means energy is expensive everywhere and we just have to accept that. While the US economy is not dependent on Russian energy, the overall rise in global energy prices caused by the war-related disruption has been dramatic. An increase in energy prices affect the price to produce just about everything. That's why you see the inflation, right? Also in other parts of the world. And because global capitalist economy is so interconnected, if the problem in Europe become bad enough to cause an all-out recession, then this will have ripple effect in the United States. The problem is not merely a Rhode Island problem. The energy prices are high because of the reckless policy of the United States government and the profiteering of US corporation. It is the sanctions that have come back to bite us. It's the sanction that's biting us back. It is the sanction, right? When the US sanctioned Iraq, hundreds of thousands of Iraqi children died. We didn't notice it here. We did not notice people dying in the United States, as Peter from Poor People's Campaign pointed out. This time, we are feeling the effect here at home. We don't have to support the Russian war to see that the sanctions are hurting working people all over the world while doing nothing to bring peace in Ukraine. This energy crisis in Europe and the pending one here in the US is due to the recklessness of the sanction on Russia. This sort of economic warfare helps no one but the defense contractors and the energy companies making a killing by hiking their prices. The policy of the United States government is completely failing and they want us to pay the prices. The rich and the powerful created this problem, not us. But they want us to suffer for it. So what's the solution? We do support the things that was laid out, right? The price freeze by David and also the organizer of the George Will Center. That's a good thing to start with. But what's the solution? Because gas and electricity are already monopolized. We need to nationalize Rhode Island energy. Bring it under state control. We must put a freeze on energy cost and a complete moratorium on shut-off. Energy is a public utility. It should be guaranteed for every person and not sold off to the highest bidder. We also must demand. They are giving us a global, right, excuse. So we also must demand it's to end the illegal sanction on Russia. It's not that we are just going to talk about what's happening right now. We are affected by that, the illegal sanctions. War is never to the benefit of the working people. And we should not support fighting any other country when our own government has declared war on us. We need to transform our economy from the bottom up. We all saw the floods, right, a few days back, and also the scorching heat in California. It's happening because of these companies which we don't have control, right? If we have control, we need to make sure that it becomes like sustainable energy can be used, right? When you have control, we can make sure that, right? So that means we need to get rid of the profit-driven system that continues to destroy the planet and build a system that cares for both the people, cares all of us, our community, our family, and the planet. So I'll end with this chant. So we have the power. Who got the power?
We got the power.
What kind of power?
People power.
Who got the power?
People power.
What kind of power?
People power.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks. Anybody else would like to speak? Okay, thank you so much. I'll see you all next Friday at 9 a.m. at the Public Utilities Commission, 89 Jefferson Boulevard. Thank you so much. Please go on our social media. You know, if you don't follow Representative David Morales, you can share his social media, George Wiley Center. Thank you, Poor People's Campaign, for putting out our information too. Please, everyone, we have to organize. If we want to win, we have to organize. Thank you.